Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Brian Donlevy starring in an episode of Dangerous Assignment, going back some 73 years to April 10th, 1950, Pirate Loot. We thank you for joining us on this Monday, 10th day of April, 100th day of the year, 265 days remaining till we get to 2024. U.S. patent system established on this date in 1790. 1865, a day after his surrender to Union forces, Confederate General Robert E. Lee addressed his troops for the last time. The last photograph of Abraham Lincoln alive, taken on this date in 1865. 1866, the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, founded in New York City on this date in 1866. 1912, the RMS Titanic left port in Southampton, England, for her first and last voyage. 1916, the Professional Golfers Association, created in New York City by 82 chartered members. Of course, that's the PGA. 1925, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, first published in New York. In 1933, the Civilian Conservation Corps, created as a part of the New Deal. 1944, Henry Ford II named Executive Vice President of Ford Motor Company. On this date in 1970, Paul McCartney announcing that the Beatles had broken up.
I always used to do sort of an interview a week almost for a newspaper or for something, just to keep my name in the headlines, because I don't know, you just go through a phase of wanting to be up there, in the limelight. Well, I'm going through a phase now where I don't want to be in the limelight.
The breakup caused by legal and financial conflicts as those of artistic vision as well. 1970, 48% of the Americans polled in a Gallup poll approved of President Nixon's Vietnam policy, 41% disapproved. 1971, in an attempt to thaw relations with the U.S., the People's Republic of China hosted the U.S. table tennis team for a week-long visit. 1978, Volkswagen became the first non-American automobile manufacturer to build cars in the U.S., opening a plant in Pennsylvania. And in 2006, hundreds of thousands protested H.R. 4437, the Sensenbrenner bill, the Border Protection, Anti-Terrorism, and Illegal Immigration Control Act of 2005 in cities across the U.S. The bill passed the House, but not the Senate. And things have just gotten worse in Congress. Passing away on this date in history, actresses Linda Darnell, Kay Medford, Natalie Schaefer, you remember Lovey Howell on Gilligan's Island, comedian Sam Kinison. I've got to know a friend of Kinison's, Carl LeBeau, a very delightful man. Wilma Flintstone, Jean Vanderpyle, passing away on this date. Frank Burns from MASH, Larry Linville, passing away on this date. The lady who sang about the locomotion, Little Eva. And Julia Sugarbaker in Designing Women, Dixie Carter, all passing away on this date in history. Birthdays today include Commodore Matthew Perry, founder of the Salvation Army, William Booth, journalist and publisher Joseph Pulitzer, the man who sang about the quiet, or didn't sing, he played the music, very exotica music they call it now, Quiet Village, Martin Denny, and actor Harry Morgan, who talks about his time in television's Dragnet reboot.
Well, I think mostly that was on my part. I was always joking around. Sometimes I joked, I played it a little too lightly, and Jack would say, hold it, it's not all that funny.
And you'd do another take.
Yeah. But I think that's sort of what I was there for, to be a counterpart. Jack was very steadfast and loyal and heavy-handed in a certain way, because of the position he had in the character and in the whole process. And I was sort of a counterpoint, I think. At least that's the way I felt. and he seemed to go along with it.
When he first started appearing in motion pictures in 1942, he used the name Henry Morgan because his first name at the time was Henry. But he later changed his name to Harry so as to avoid problems and confusion with the comedian Henry Morgan. Harry Morgan, born on this date in history. Others born on this date who are no longer with us, the rifleman Chuck Connors, Sheb Woolley, who was a very, very funny man. He did a number of parody records under the name Ben Colder, but also his biggest hit was under the name Sheb Woolley, the one-eyed, one-horned, pied-eyed purple people eater. And also born on this date, comedian Junior Samples.
Hi, friend. Honest as a day is long samples here. Folks, I don't mind telling you I made a bundle pushing used cars. And starting this weekend, I'm passing my profits on to you. Come on down to the lot and ask one of our salesmen on parole to work out some terms for you. That's BR549, and hold down the collect calls. I'm no old Rockefeller, you know.
From Hee Haw, Junior Samples, born on this date in history. Actor Omar Sharif, football's Don Meredith, Dandy Don, as we saw him on Monday Night Football, and John Madden, all born on this date in history. Actor Steven Seagal is 71 today. Also, Brian Setzer of the Stray Cats, 64 years old. Katrina and the Waves front woman Katrina Lezanich is 63, still walking on sunshine. R&B singer Kenny Lattimore is 53. Racer Casey Kane, 43 years old.
My whole life, I've watched the Indy 500. Today, a lot of my dreams came true winning the Brickyard 400.
To win in Indianapolis, to win at the Brickyard, a place that I've respected and always loved watching races and being part of it when I started racing here. It was a huge win for myself and my team, and we're going to work really hard from here to get ready to go for those final 10. I mean, that's what we all want to be in, that's what we want to be a part of, and super excited to be back in that.
From Fox Sports, talking about the 2017 Brickyard 400, Casey Kane, 43 years old today. You remember A Walk to Remember? This Is Us. She has a star on the Walk of Fame, Mandy Moore, 39 years old. From Pretty Little Liars, Shay Mitchell is 36. I See Dead People. Haley Joe Osment, 35. This clip courtesy of the Today Show.
Tom Hanks, I was only 4 years old, and I was struck by how prepared and how dedicated he was and how intense his focus was on set. And I just got very lucky to work with actors and directors who were very generous with their time.
Look, there you are.
25 years ago. Yeah.
So
I remember that very well.
Like, I just want to squeeze your cheek.
That little playroom in there, they had a bunch of little toy foam balls, and in between scenes, Tom and I had like a little
cool.
like snowball fight. Yeah.
Haley Joe Osment, who is 35 years old today. Been a long time, hasn't it? Let's see. And Daisy Ridley she was Rey in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Daisy Ridley, 31. Those some of the people celebrating the 10th day of April is their birthday. If this is your birthday.
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say happy birthday to you.
From 73 years ago today, April 10th, 1950, Brian Donlevy, Dangerous Assignment. Thanks for tuning in on this Monday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox here on your favorite radio station. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We go back 73 years, April 10th, 1950, Brian Donlevy, Dangerous Assignment.
Dangerous Assignment, starring Brian Donlevy as Steve Mitchell.
Hi, Commissioner.
Steve, have a seat.
Thanks. I suppose you know you're ruining my reputation around this town. Every time I get out on a date, you haul me back here to the office and send me halfway around the world.
Cheer up, Steve. They always keep a light burning in the window for you, don't they?
Yeah, but if you're gone too long, that fire can die out, you know.
Steve, ever have on a diving suit?
Diving suit? Well, yeah, once.
You're leaving for the Caribbean on the next plane. Your destination is Trinidad.
I'm going to fly to Trinidad in a diving suit?
You're going hunting for pirate treasure, Steve. There's no time now to go into the background. Go to Trinidad and show up in dungarees at the Trade Winds Bar. You'll be contacted there, and the contact will fill you in on the deal.
Just a minute. Part of the deal doesn't by any chance involve getting into a diving suit, does it?
It might. Steve, this is a vital job. We're depending on you right down the line. Well, that's it. You've got your assignment. Good luck.
This assignment tops them all. Usually I have at least an inkling of what I'm supposed to do, but here I am heading for Trinidad, and all I know is I'm supposed to meet a guy in the Trade Winds Bar. It's a hot Tuesday afternoon when I get to Trinidad. I change into dungarees at the hotel and head for the Trade Winds Bar. It's a real keen joint. A bunch of rickety tables, a calypso singer, a battered-looking bar with a drunk sprawled on it, and behind the bar, a fat gent in a dirty apron.
All right, name it, brother.
Beer.
Coming up. Hey, sailor, aren't you?
Yeah, but out of a job right now. Just drifting.
Here you are.
Bartender! Hey, bartender!
Oh, I'm coming.
Hey, mister.
Huh?
Buy me a drink, will you?
You look like you've had too much already. You better go back to... Hey, wait a minute. Joe Wilkins.
Yeah.
Commissioner told me I'd be contacted here, but he didn't mention you.
I've been working on this case for 6 months now.
Oh.
I've managed to establish an enviable reputation as the leading drunk in Trinidad. Oh, my poor liver.
What's the deal?
Underwater demolition. You know what a job it did for us during the war, Steve?
Yeah, the Navy frogmen.
Yeah. Well, about 6 months ago, a group of civilians with government cooperation developed a revolutionary new explosive technique. They came down here, rented a boat, and made their tests. We're sure of that much because they radioed in that they were on their way back, and that's the last we ever heard from them.
What happened?
We don't know. Boat apparently sank.
Any survivors?
One. Deckhand named Griggs. He disappeared before I could get down here. It's either one of two things, Steve. Griggs got away with the data they compiled, or else it's at the bottom of the Caribbean.
You know, if that falls into the wrong hands, none of our ports and harbors would be safe. You got any line on Griggs?
Not until 3 days ago. And Griggs popped up here in Trinidad looking real prosperous, throwing dough around.
Well, maybe he sold the plan.
I don't think so, Steve. He started outfitting a treasure hunting expedition. His outfit is shoving off tomorrow on a little boat called the Sea Witch. I've been trying to get a job on it.
Hey, you could be walking into a lot of trouble.
Steve, see that babe over there in the corner table alone?
Yeah. What about her?
That's Griggs' girlfriend. I can't get any information from her. I think she likes the more of your size.
Okay. I'll give it a try. See you later. Hi.
What do you want?
To buy you a drink.
Why not?
Matter of fact, I'll buy you 2 drinks.
And then what?
Then we quit drinking. I'll be broke.
Oh? Having it tough, huh?
Yeah. It's pretty hard for a diver to get a job these days.
A diver? Oh, why don't you get lost?
What's the matter? Don't you like divers?
Oh, sure, but they're never around. I know. I go with a guy who is a diver. Griggs.
Oh. Hey, maybe this friend of yours, Griggs, could get me a job.
I don't think so. It's some kind of a treasure hunting business.
Teresa, button your lip.
Hello, Griggs.
Who's this joker?
A guy who is kind enough to buy me a drink.
Shove off, bud.
Now, don't you think that's up to Teresa?
You heard me get lost.
Oh, sit down, Griggs, and quit showing your muscles. And, mister, maybe you'd better sort of...
Okay, sure. Well, see you around.
Maybe we can have that drink some other time.
Yeah? There won't be any other time. You keep your eyes to yourself after this and don't get any idea.
How did you make out, Steve?
Not so hot. The boyfriend showed up too soon.
Yeah. Well, I sure wish we could get some.
What's the matter?
Little gent who just came in, the one in the white suit.
Yeah, what about him?
His name's Jeremiah. You'll hear all about him in a second. Byron's tuning up right now.
Lord Byron?
Yeah, that's the calypso singer over there. Listen.
Oh, Jeremiah is a fine man, he, the best man in all Trinidad colony. He's a good friend of sailors whose luck's very bad. The best man in colony Trinidad. Wristwatch, a ring, or a curio. For this Jeremiah will lend much dough. He will find you a job for a modest fee, the savior of suffering humanity. He saves the sailors from a cold, cruel fate and charges a very low interest rate. Oh, Jeremiah is a fine man, he, the best man in Trinidad colony.
And now you know who Jeremiah is.
Yeah. Hey, he just slipped that calypso singer some dough.
Sure, that's the deal.
Well, what do you know? Singing commercials in Trinidad yet. Wait a minute. That song said something about getting jobs for sailors.
Sure, that's right. That's the angle I'm working on with him.
You mean you're trying to get him to put you aboard the boat Griggs is sailing on?
Yeah. Oh, watch it, Steve. Jeremiah's heading this way.
Oh, Joe.
Huh?
Joe.
Oh. Well, hello, Jeremiah.
How can I help you start a new life if you spend all the money I'd lend you on cheap whiskey?
Oh, I tried, Jeremiah. You know how it is.
You must be firm, Joe. You must turn over a new leaf.
Yeah.
The ways of sin lead but to the grave or the drunk tank. And then how could I ever get back all the money I've invested in you? Work. That is the answer for you, Joe. Work.
Yeah. Nobody'll give me a job.
That's not true any longer, Joe. I have gotten you a job.
Huh?
On the Sea Witch. You sail tomorrow morning.
Hey, you kidding me?
Of course not. Joe, I see in you a noble man who has been corrupted by evil companions and unfortunate experiences. I believe in you, Joe. I believe that you will straighten out and take your rightful place in the world. So, I have gotten you a job to help you.
That's pretty nice of you, Jeremiah.
It was not easy, mind you. It is a small boat with a small crew, some sort of treasure hunting expedition, I believe. Now, just sign this little slip of paper, if you will, please.
What is it?
Well, the customary agreement, which gives me a small percentage of your wages in return for the trouble I've gone to on your account.
Hey, you call 20% small?
Why, Joe, after all I've done for you, how can you quibble about such a trifling amount?
Okay, Jeremiah, I'll sign it.
Just give the skipper this card, Joe. That will identify you.
Okay.
Well, I must be going now. I have to meet this other deckhand, Nick, and give him a card also.
Thanks again, Jeremiah.
When a human being is in need, Jeremiah will not be far away.
Steve?
Yeah, I heard it all. Come on.
What?
We're going to follow Jeremiah. I'm cooking up an idea. If it works, you're going to have yourself a shipmate. We follow Jeremiah to his office near the waterfront. We wait down the street. Pretty soon, the sailor goes into the office. He's walking like he had quite a few drinks under his belt. In a few minutes, he comes out again, and he's putting one of Jeremiah's cards in his pocket. Come on, Joe. Here he comes. Start walking.
Hey.
Sorry.
Why don't you look out where you're going?
Same to you, bud.
Now, break it up. It was just an accident. Hey, didn't you just come out of Jeremiah's office?
Yeah, what's it to you?
Oh, I was just wondering if he was there. I gotta find out some more stuff from him about this boat I'm shoving off on tomorrow morning.
Oh, the Sea Witch?
Yeah, why?
Oh, looks like we're gonna be shipmates.
Yeah? Hey, you sailing on it too, huh? Ah, my name's Joe.
Oh, Nick's mine.
Ah, this is Steve, buddy of mine.
Hi.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, this calls for a drink, huh?
Yeah, I could use one. How about you, Nick?
Sure, I can always use one. And this is our last day ashore, too. Come on, let's go.
2 hours and 5 bars later, Joe and I managed to find out that Nick hasn't ever seen the skipper of the Sea Witch. Finally, Nick figures he's had too much.
I gotta get out of here.
Sure, Nick, sure. Here, give me a hand, Joe.
Okay. Oh, easy, Nick. I need some fresh air.
Yeah, that's where we're going, outside. There you are. Feel better now?
Oh, yeah. Fresh air. It's wonderful. Why,
Catch him, Joe.
I got him. Well, now what?
Huh?
Steve will have to take him to the police station, I guess.
Yeah, it's right next door, too. Quite a coincidence, huh? Come on, I'll carry him.
Okay.
Brother, he's no lightweight.
Here we are.
April 10th, 1950. Dangerous assignment on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The news from 73 years ago today comes up next, but first, these very important messages from your favorite radio station. Just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Mike Lindell and MyPillow launching the MyPillow 2.0. Now, when Mike invented MyPillow, it had everything you could want in a pillow. Now, nearly 20 years later, he's discovered a new technology that makes MyPillow even better. Of course, the patented adjustable fill of the original MyPillow, but now with brand new fabric with a temperature-regulating thread, it's the softest, smoothest, and coolest pillow you'll ever own. Say goodbye to tossing and turning and flipping your pillow over in the middle of the night. And more great news on the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer with my promo code Wyatt. MyPillow 2.0 is 100% made in the USA, 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square to receive the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer. Use my promo code Wyatt or call 1-800-928-4715. Thanks for spending part of your Monday with us here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We're listening to an episode of Dangerous Assignment starring Brian Donlevy as it was broadcast Monday, April 10th, 1950. In the newspapers of that Monday, 73 years ago, these were some of the headlines. The Republican senator from Wisconsin, Joseph McCarthy, said yesterday Owen Lattimore has done exactly what could be expected of a communist spy, but sidestepped a Democratic challenge to say flatly that the Far Eastern expert is a Red. McCarthy fired his newest broadside at Lattimore in an angry telegram to Secretary of State Dean Acheson. He accused the Baltimore professor and lecturer of secretly sabotaging nationalist China and of secretly shaping American foreign policy along communist lines. But in a transcribed radio program, which was aired later, McCarthy ducked a direct challenge by Congressman John Dingell, the Democrat of Michigan, to repeat his Red charges against Lattimore without the congressional immunity, which protects him from libel. Dingell denounced McCarthy as an irresponsible smear artist and said his charges against the State Department were motivated by politics. Snow, rain, and cold put a damper on Easter finery yesterday as the nation's millions observed the age-old rites of the resurrection. A coincidence of the calendar combined Easter Orthodox and Western Christian services on the same day, and religious leaders believe the multitudes of worshipers over the world may have been the greatest in history. Pope Pius XII conducted Easter Mass for some 400,000 worshipers, many of them Holy Year pilgrims from over the world, who crowded into St. Peter's Basilica and the Great Square outside. The Navy announced yesterday one of its snorkel-type submarines has made a 21-day, 5,200-mile run from Hong Kong to Pearl Harbor without surfacing. There was no official claim for a record for submerged voyages, but officers said that so far as they know, it was the longest run ever made, all underwater. The nation's top defense and diplomatic leaders will be called before Congress soon to discuss the impact of H-bomb developments on the U.S. plan for atomic control. Senator McMahon, the Connecticut Democrat, said General Omar Bradley and Secretary of State Dean Acheson will be among those questioned by the Joint Senate-House Atomic Committee, McMahon, chairman of the group. The Moscow radio said yesterday American stories of flying saucers and mysterious submarines in the water are being cooked up to boost the munitions business. The broadcast said the sub reported off the Pacific coast was pure invention. The sub was not discovered by the Coast Patrol, but in the Pentagon building, U.S. Defense Headquarters, the radio commentator said. The commentator said this became clear when Admiral Forrest P. Sherman, the U.S. Chief of Naval Operations, said the U.S. arm program should be enlarged for a fight against subs. A little band of Negro Christians bowed to fear Easter Sunday yesterday and called out their afternoon services in Unadilla, Georgia. Nobody knew exactly what there was to fear, but whatever it was real to them, something very real. For the 200 or so members of the Camp Creek Baptist Church, it was going to be a wonderful day, a day to worship Christ and to honor their 87-year-old pastor, the Reverend George Taylor. Even two white ministers, the Reverend M.W. Flanders of the Methodist Church and the Reverend L.F. Smith of the Baptist Church, planned to come down to pay their respects to the aged Negro man of God. But then last Friday, the Reverend Flanders received a telephone call, an anonymous thing, and a man's voice warned him not to appear. Flanders asked the man if he were a member of the Ku Klux Klan, but there was no answer. Then the minister said he promised to appear, and appear he would. The service canceled because of the threats. Those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Monday, April 10th, 1950 on your radio. Dangerous Assignment, which continues now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Steve, set him down on that chair over there.
Yeah.
Hello. What's all this?
We've got a package for you. He's it.
Drunk?
Slightly. My name's Mitchell, Constable. Steve Mitchell. Here are my credentials.
I say. What can I do for you, chap?
You got a nice private cell where you could deposit this guy, Nick?
Well, I suppose so. Ordinarily, we'd throw him into the drunk tank.
Well, this isn't an ordinary occasion. I'll fill you in on it after you lock him up. I get Jeremiah's card off Nick. Then I make a deal with the constable. He puts Nick in a private cell and me in the drunk tank. And from now on, he's to call me Nick. Joe sends a message to the skipper that Nick is locked up. Then I roost there the rest of the night, watching a few assorted cases of DTs. Morning finally comes, and with it comes a visitor.
All right, now. Look alive, chums. Which one of you is Nick?
I am.
On your feet, then. Here's someone to pick you up.
Who are you?
The skipper. We'll see your card.
Here it is.
Come on. Good moving, Nick.
Okay, let's go.
Nick, if I wasn't short-handed, I'd let you rot in a drunk tank.
Simmer down, will you?
We'll shove off in an hour. Be aboard.
Sure. I'll get my gear together and be down there in plenty of time. I'll see you later, Skipper. I start down the street in one direction, the skipper goes in another. I wait until I'm out of his sight, then I double back and head for Joe's rooming house. I turn a corner just in time to see the skipper going inside. But the skipper isn't even supposed to know Joe, let alone where he lives. That means just one thing, there's been a leak. I shift into high, but just as I get to the door, I head for the rickety stairs, but a door opens above and Joe staggers out into the hall. Steve! Joe, here, let me...
No, it's too late, Steve.
The skipper?
Yeah. He doesn't know about you, Steve. I told him I was working alone. Get aboard the Sea Witch, Steve. You're on your own.
As it was broadcast at 10:30 Eastern Time, April 10th, 1950, Dangerous Assignment on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The conclusion follows these messages from your favorite station. On Tuesday's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, Jay Johnston, starring as Mr. District Attorney from 72 years ago, April 11th, 1951, the case of the money machine. A former worker in a mental hospital breaks in and steals one of the inmates, who happens to be a mathematical genius. An act in the carnival is set up for the madman. That's coming up on Tuesday's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. But now the conclusion of Dangerous Assignment, 73 years ago today, April 10th, 1950.
Yeah, I'm really on my own now. Joe's dead. I know the skipper killed him, but I can't tip my hand yet. I have to play it close to the chest. So I go down to the waterfront and get aboard to see which.
Get forward and help Griggs with the lines. We're ready to shove off and we're short-handed. Some rum-dum named Joe didn't show up.
Hey, just a minute.
What's the matter, Griggs?
You're the guy who was making a play for my girl at the Trade Winds bar yesterday.
So what?
So what are you doing aboard?
Same as you, Buster. I'm sailing on this tub.
What? Look, Skipper, get this guy off.
You look. I'm the skipper. I run this boat.
Yeah? Well, don't forget I'm the only guy who knows where to take this boat.
Griggs, you're getting paid for this job, same as I. And the boss says this guy goes. Now, shut up!
Sorry, Griggs.
Okay. But just remember, I don't like you.
That's tough.
Yeah, it could be.
Now, break it off, both of you. Get busy with those lines. Hey, you, Lord Byron.
Yes, Skipper?
Hey, that Calypso singer going along, too?
Yeah, he's a pretty good deckhand. Now, get that engine started. We're shoving off.
I watch the shoreline of Trinidad fade away, and I wonder if I'll ever see it again. Joe and I had figured we'd be 2 against 3 when the showdown came, but now it looks like it's 1 against 3. I can't figure out where Lord Byron, the Calypso singer, stands in the deal, so the 3rd day out, I'm on deck when I hear him singing.
Oh, the sea which we sail on the Carib Sea, the hunt buried treasure for you and me. If we don't find the treasure, then the hunt is done. Lord Byron don't care, 'cause he still have fun.
You sound like you don't care whether we find this treasure or not.
Oh, many people seek treasure, Nick. Few of them ever find it. But it's fun looking.
Hey, did you ever sail with Griggs or the skipper before?
No.
You know, I have a theory that you can trust a happy man.
Well, you and me, Nick, we are happy people, but the skipper and Griggs, they're not. It's too bad.
Yeah. Look, if you ever hear the skipper and Griggs talking about me, I'd like you to come and tell me right away.
Sure, Nick. I'll come and tell you right away if I hear anything.
Good.
Okay, Nick. This is it.
Aye?
You're going to work.
What do you mean, Skipper?
Get into a diving suit.
What?
You heard me? I want you to go down and see if we're over that sunken ship.
What's the matter with Griggs? I thought he was the diver.
He's got a bellyache.
Oh. Kind of hit him all of a sudden, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Look, I was told you were a diver, too.
Well, sure I am.
Then get into the suit. Lord Byron will tend your lines and man the pump. Get moving.
I don't like it. It smells like trouble all of a sudden, but there's nothing I can do. I get into the diving suit. They fasten the helmet over my head, and Lord Byron helps me over the side. On the bottom, it's cold and murky and quiet. I poke around for about 15 minutes, but I can't see the sunken ship anywhere. Lord Byron, you better haul me up. Lord Byron.
He's busy, Nick. I'm handling your lines now.
Oh, well, Skipper, I can't spot that hulk anywhere.
Can't be far.
Well, it isn't here. How about hauling me up?
You getting enough air, Nick?
Yeah, but keep it coming, huh?
Sure, Nick. Sure. I'll haul you up now, but I want you to keep your suit on. We'll move on a couple of 100 yards, and you and Griggs will go down again.
Griggs? I thought he was sick.
He feels okay all of a sudden.
Okay. Look, come on, haul me up, will you? Getting lonesome down here.
Sure, Nick. Sure.
I'm sweating plenty inside that suit on the way to the surface. For a couple of grim seconds, when the skipper was asking me about my air supply, I figured he was onto me and playing cat and mouse. Yeah, it was good to get that fishbowl off of my head. Yeah, I thought I was in trouble then, but if I could have seen what was happening at the Trinidad jail, I'd have known how much trouble I really was in.
Good morning, Constable.
Oh, Jeremiah. Down here to save a few souls this morning?
I am making my usual visit to offer my services to any unfortunate sailors who may have fallen in with evil companions, yes.
Well, the crop we've got in the tank this morning don't seem to have much of value on them.
My good man, you do not seem to realize that pawning articles is but a minor thing with me. My larger aim is to serve humanity.
Of course. Clumsy of me to forget, Jeremiah. Well, you know where the drunk tank is. Help yourself.
Thank you.
Jeremiah.
What? Who called me?
Jeremiah, over here.
Why, Nick. Nick, you're supposed to be out on the Sea Witch.
Two guys got me drunk and hauled me in here.
Who were they?
One of them's name was Joe. The other I don't remember.
Joe was taken care of before the Sea Witch sailed. Do you still have my card?
No, it was gone when I came to.
I see. This friend of Joe's must have taken your place, Nick. I will get a message to the Sea Witch at once.
Set, Nick?
Yeah, I guess so, Griggs. Where's the skipper?
Up in the radio shack. There's a radio message coming in.
Huh.
Lord Byron here can let us down and handle the pump.
Sure, Griggs.
Okay. You go down first and wait for me. Don't do anything until I get down there.
Okay.
Screw his faceplate on, Lord Byron.
Sure, Griggs.
Okay. Lower him.
This time we've got the right location. I land right on the sunken ship. It's lying on its side. Griggs comes down after me and drops into a hole in the side of the ship. In a minute, he crawls out with a waterproof container. The underwater demolition data we're both after. Then he stiffens and seems to be listening to something. Divers' phones are on separate lines, so I can't hear what Griggs was listening to, but suddenly Lord Byron is singing into my phone.
Oh, there were once two men in the diving suits, and one of them's in trouble, you can bet your boots. The bad man is holding a knife very tight. The good man had better begin to fight.
Great time to be singing. Then suddenly it registers. It's more than a song. It's a warning. I turn around just in time to see Griggs bringing his knife through the water toward my diving suit. From then on, it's like a slow-motion movie. I manage to get my hand around his wrist in time, and I start inching him back toward the hole in the side of the ship. We sway back and forth for a few seconds. Then I finally get my shoulder against him and shove. He topples over into the hole. There's slack in his cable. I take a turn around the beam. Then I fish my own knife out of my belt and cut his phone line. Lord Byron, haul me up.
He's a little unconscious right now, Nick, or whatever your name is.
Huh?
I just got a radio message about you from Jeremiah.
Jeremiah? Oh, so he's the big boss.
Yeah. It looks like that message came just in time. With you on the bottom, and me on the surface. I got news for you, brother. You're not coming up. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard it. But if I'm not coming up, neither is Griggs.
What did you do to him?
He's out of commission right now.
No wonder he can't talk to me. Well, you won't be talking much longer either, Nick. I'm turning off your air.
Now, look.
So long, sucker.
Wait a minute. If you turn off my air, I've still got time to open this container and scatter these papers you're after. You'll never get them.
Yeah, you're just bluffing, Nick. According to Griggs, those papers are sealed in there too tight for you to do anything about in a diving suit. I'm going to haul Griggs up and leave you there.
Yeah? Well, just tell me one thing, Skipper.
Yeah, what is it?
You weren't on deck when Lord Byron lowered us. How do you know which liner's which? How do you know which one of us you're going to haul up?
Not good enough, Nick. I know which phone I'm talking to you on, and I can see which line it's connected to.
Maybe I had Lord Byron switch the phone lines when he let us down.
Not a chance. Like I said before. So long, sucker.
I played my last card, and he trumped it. I stand there with a sick feeling in my middle as I watch Griggs' line tighten with a jerk, and suddenly I know there's only one thing more I can do.
Well, so So you did switch phone lines on me, huh? Thanks for the tip, Nick. I knew if I jerked your line hard enough, I could get a grunt out of you. Now I'm sure which line to haul up.
It had worked. Griggs' line slackens, and the skipper starts hauling me up. Halfway to the surface, he turns off the air. That's good. There'll be less air in my suit, and I can move my arms better. I let my body go limp and slump my head down below the faceplate in the helmet like I'm unconscious. I surface. The skipper holds me up on deck and unscrews the faceplate.
Okay, Griggs. You'll be all right.
You guessed wrong.
Nick!
Yeah, come on, Skipper, let's bump heads.
Oh. Nick, you okay? I tried to warn you.
Yeah, that warning came just in time. Thanks, Lord Byron. When I get out of this suit, I'll untie you, and we'll haul up Griggs and head for Trinidad. And Jeremiah.
Untie you? Jeremiah? You know, Nick, this almost sounds like a calypso song.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Well, then, I might as well finish it. How's that thing go? Oh, Jeremiah was a fine man, he, until he sent his bad boys out to sea. They got all fouled up down near the equator. Now, Stephen Lord Byron, bring back the demolition dater.
Nick, in the future, I had better sing the calypso.
Yeah, maybe you had better.
You have just heard another episode in the exciting new adventure series, Dangerous Assignment, starring Brian Donlevy as Steve Mitchell. Dangerous Assignment, written by Bob Reif with music by Bruce Ashley, is directed by Bill Karn. Be with us next week at this time when Brian Donlevy, starring as Steve Mitchell, will embark on another Dangerous Assignment.
April 10th, 1950, Brian Donlevy, Dangerous Assignment on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks for making us a part of your day. Thank this station. Support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allow us to be with you each and every Monday at this time on your favorite station. Miss a day, you don't have to miss a show. You can hear all 21 hours a week of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox by going to classicradio.stream. You can also find lists of places where you can podcast the show. You can also find our social media links. You can learn how to build a classic radio collection of your own. And you can also buy me a coffee. That Buy Me a Coffee money helps keep our distribution channels up and running. And it also helps us acquire additional classic radio collections. That's at classicradio.stream. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.